Hola, familia estelar. You did not land here by chance. You have indeed entered into a sacred world lying collision. There are a few really important messages coming through today, and this is the moment that the clock strikes 12. This is a moment where the last few grains of sand are being fed through the hourglass. And what I'm seeing is the separation in the hourglass domains is literally you falling quite literally into a new realm or a new reality. And I'll tell you why. 29 degrees. Spirit really wants me to do this message today. And when I checked it, Venus is actually sitting at 29 degrees today. So this is a cyclical cycle where the eclipses and the energy of the eclipses are going to continue to be reactivated in your life. But what is 29 degrees in astrology? It is known as an anaretic degree or a critical degree, and it marks the last strike of the ticking clock. So it's essentially where there's a chapter that is going to be closing out, and it's going to bring the sense of a transformation in, I'm hearing, multiple arenas in your life. You know, this could be, again, it's subject to your own individual journey, but it's whatever is needed at this stage in your evolution. Now, the other message that kept coming through, and one of you guys repeated it right before doing this reading, so I keep seeing reinforcements around me. You said, well, you quoted something that I said, right? And I said, you need to focus on what it is that is calling you instead of what it is that you're moving away from during this time. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. But it is not really a simple or soft ending. You know, it's something that has taken a lot of internal contemplation. And it's going to be almost something that you feel this sense of urgency to close out, especially on a soul level. And it feels like this is almost the last lifetime with 29 degrees, where you've reached the pinnacle of almost a spiritual pursuit or an emotional challenge, and you're ready to let go of something and leap into something new. So it definitely is like an ending that comes with a direct new beginning in your life. So yeah, there's something new that you're going to be learning how to do. There's something new that it feels like you're going to be getting acquainted with. You know, that's definitely what it feels like. So we're going to take a look at this. Whew. Guys, right, let's see. And the fact that I'm holding this, like I'm holding onto this crystal right now, and it's from 𝓪𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓬, which is a masculine portal. So the masculine is all about physical action that you're actually going to have to take in this realm, and that's the energy that's coming through very strongly. So let's go and take a look at this. Yeah, this was what we were being summoned to talk about today, and this is going to drop into your experience and materialize into your experience to confirm something that you already know. You know, that's what it is. I feel like this is, I'm hearing it's not just the cherry on top, but it's something that, you know, I'm hearing like it encapsulates, and to encapsulate is to, you know, surround and contain something. So it feels like this is the final kind of layer of paint that's been needed to be applied on a wall. So it feels like there's many different layers, and I'm hearing it kind of top coats and encapsulates and crystallizes a new reality into form for you. That's what it feels like. It feels like it's a finite decision in some way, but it supports your infinite journey. Okay, so we're going to open up with a Cosmos Oracle message. I'm going to just tell me about 29 degrees, Spirit. What is this? 29 degrees. It is the void. Oh, the nothingness, where things have never felt so loud. So the void, I'll go ahead and read it for you. It's a moment of stillness, right? It's a moment of really just knowingness. Go nowhere, because that's where everything is, right? Allow your mind to drift off into the nowhere, because that's where literally all the answers await for you. And I just opened it on the introduction page, and it says the new frequency from 6 to 9, the only thing to know, reading and portals. So it's almost like there is a portal of discovery, and a man's errors are his portals of discovery. And there's something around, not that there's an error, but I'm seeing almost like error correcting codes with the Tinkle codes in this universe. It feels like you're feeding in a new kind of algorithm into your experience. You know, that's definitely what it seems like. Let me go ahead and find void for you though. This is empty space. Can you handle it? And what comes after the 29 degrees? Literally a new beginning. You know, it's like the world card moving into the full, where you're going to be called to take a leap of faith in some aspect of your life or area. So the void, no answer. no energy and no message. Is this going to focus? I don't know, but maybe it's hard to focus when you're in the void right now. No answer, no energy, no message. There is nothing, and at the same time, it's like a paradox of silence. It can sound louder than 1,000 words, opening up the possibility to a whole. You know what I find interesting about this? It's not necessarily something that you're announcing, that you're closing out. It's something that you're just doing, because this is where your silence is its own transmission. Trees do not announce their growth. If you need a witness, become your own. And there's something around you witnessing how far it is that you've come to even get to this point. You know, that's definitely a vibe. So yeah, it talks about the oracle also has imposes its healing limits. This is the first question. Okay, so everything has already been said to you. I have nothing more to give you. And that's almost like what the universe is going to say. You know, that's what it feels like. The universe inside of you is speaking to you. There is a conversation taking place between the non-physical and physical aspects of yourself, and it feels like this is the step in the physical that is going to crystallize a new timeline into your experience. So this feels finite. You know, it feels like a finite decision, but you don't realize right now how it leads you into so many other infinite potential timelines. You know, that's definitely a strong energy. And then you have Fox P2, so it's really important to think very consciously, you know. Many of us in this system do not take responsibility for our thoughts. When you realize that your life is a projection of everything that's going on within your inner world, there's a different kind of accountability that you take for even your unconscious thoughts and manifestations. So the void, right? This is like a huge thing. Let's see what comes after this void period. So it's almost like your silence has never been so loud. Density. Okay, so what comes after it is density and relativity, which is about your life on Earth and the way that you move through the third dimension. Shifting, you know, E=mc² basically talks about how this can feel like, okay, it's almost like a time dilation bubble, just in the way where you're being invited, right? There's like a portal or galactic portal that's opening up for you, a portal of discovery where your galactic brothers and sisters are beckoning for you to come and safely learn more on the reality that awaits you on the other side of this decision. And this decision is the only bridge into this new realm of experiences, this eco experiences, right? Filled with opportunities, people, and things that are resonant with the version of you that embodies this decision, okay? Now, density talks about things that have been weighing you down and that no longer, it's like your perception is switching. The things that used to hold you back, it just feels like they no longer are, you know? It feels like they no longer will be in some way with density. We'll clarify this. Let's get one more. And Big Bang, yeah. It's because there's a reboot happening within you. That's literally what it feels like. Big Bang and magnetic field is a new physical laws that you're applying to your own internal universe. So certain belief systems that held you back just no longer will be. Magnetic field is you pulling in and drawing in new things towards you because of this embodiment, right? There's a difference between knowing the path, knowing what it is that you're supposed to be closing out and moving towards, more importantly, during this time. And there's a difference between walking that path. There's a difference between knowledge and it being a concept to you actually integrating it into your everyday experience and how you navigate life on Earth. Do you understand and you honor that understanding through your decisions on a daily basis? Or do you just wear the costume of understanding and you are completely moving incongruently with what the soul is really wanting to move towards in the third density? Right, with the density. So are your fears holding you back? Big Bang is like the birth of a new universe, right? It's not just a subtle change. It's not. It is a huge change that is going to be seen. It's going to be felt. And it's not something that needs to be explained. It will be something that is experienced through the things that you do and also the things that you no longer do. So let's take a look at this, right? We're going to open up with, let's take a look at void and the oracle. Look at this. I caught the walking away, and then we have storm warning. Storm warning is basically something that can feel chaotic because, again, everything's going to have to fall apart. Because if you think about 29 degrees, it's a foundation that you were previously standing on. The foundation is built upon certain belief systems that just no longer align with your values, right? The foundation is compromised. It's not going to support the life that you're wanting to build moving forward. Now, there is a cosmos within this disorder. There is a secret ordering to what may appear to be like at this time. There is a cosmos within it. Walking away is someone that's walking away from something that they have nothing left to learn in that version of reality. Okay, it's like what this feels like is something that's going on within you, and this shift is going to call for you to no longer negotiate with that fearful aspect, that localized version of self, okay, that dimensional self that coexists within you. This is where your self-love becomes greater than your fear. And storm warning is, again, a huge pivotal, okay, that's another message that was coming through, actually. It was, especially with Angel, with love at the base. Okay, this is like a pivotal turning point for you. It's a critical and a pivotal turning point, okay? Now, we'll go ahead and read storm warning, actually, for you. But the book is under the wrong deck, or is it? 10. Clouds on the horizon. This indicates the potential difficulty either in the external world or within your own emotional life. The difficulty is coming closer than you may already heard rumblings of potential problems around you. The caution here is to be conscious yet not fearful. Consider what's going on and look at the situation with calm and clarity. It almost feels like the ego is going to be dissolving, right? Your sense of identity with an old realm or an old way of navigating the system is going to be completely crumbling to the point where you're being stripped away from what feels like it's you, but you've mistaken it as yourself. And this could be belief systems or things that you've attached to in some way. And it's like you're returning back to that pure God or goddess essence within you and that infinite potential. So stand up for yourself, take action on your own behalf, and as with all difficulty, even the worst storms have passed, always remember that you have the power and the wisdom to handle whatever may come your way. So you have the power within you to overcome any obstacle, and it doesn't even feel like an obstacle, it feels like an invitation, to the soul. It may feel like an obstacle to the ego or the human, but you can be strong, confident, and self-directed, and it's almost like 29 degrees is a critical point, right? So you really don't know how strong you are until it almost feels like you're left with no other option. And this is where it's like the soul is going to be leading the flesh, even if the mind does not fully understand where the heart is leading you. But there's something that you're being guided towards, right? So let's go ahead and clarify this density. What has been weighing you down or holding you back? And this is within your own world, okay? With the sun. So I'm seeing the sun come through as your awareness, and your awareness of what is rising up within the body during this time, because you're here to feel the full spectrum of human emotion, but you're also here to observe the human emotion and not mistake yourself for it. So if you're feeling fear rise up within the body as you're going through this transit point, well, get curious around, okay, why is fear rising up every time I face the unknown? When I face the unknown, if I fear it, am I disconnecting from my higher self when I know that my freedom lies on the other side of my fear? What am I going to choose, right? This is a conscious decision. How is that conversation happening within you? I'm hearing through the lens of compassion, okay? So the sun is actually really positive in density. The sun is almost into communication with source, playing within its own creation, right? And you're coming back to the one observing the one who is afraid. Observe that fearful voice. Observe that call for love. It's not about you rejecting it. It's about you inviting it in and saying, almost like the inner child, right? And saying, okay, we're going to move through this change together. And with the world, it's going to lead to you at the base, moving through this world completely differently. It's like you're relating to your journey on earth emotionally and your own emotions differently, right? From a higher level of awareness, because you're observing what is rising up within this vessel. So, and this is even necessarily like your fears. It's fears that you have adopted ancestrally, right? Collective fears that you may feel rising up within the body. So your awareness becomes not just your torch, but also your source of protection and energetic boundaries, you know? And then you have Daughter Spirit with Big Bang. Daughter Spirit is literally about beautiful new beginnings. Again, the Big Bang leads to a new door opening. You'll read it. 32. So you almost like blowing up a complete old way of navigating reality leads to spiritual awakenings and new beginnings. So this talks about the door opens into truly unlimited potential, for the changes that happen here reach deep inside of the core of your being. As such, this card often heralds your increasing powers in the spiritual arts and a deepening connection that you have with the spiritual world. So you could becoming more intuitive, opening up to unexpected guidance or inspiration, but the magic of the power that you're discovering is your true eternal identity, right? Not just the human vessel, right? Not just this physical vessel, but the timeless consciousness that's navigating life on Earth, utilizing this vessel as a tool to move through this terrestrial plane. And within this carbon-based life form that your plasma origins is incarnated into, just like many different, avatars that you've incarnated into, they come with their own set, or I'm hearing subset of physical laws. Okay, a universe exists within every single human, and there could be different gravitational forces that weigh us down. And what is gravity? Well, you're not bound by gravity, you're only bound by your belief. And there's something around where your beliefs have held you back, the beliefs that you had adopted due to this avatar being linked to a very specific generational lineage, and you were called forth into a lineage and equipped with the tools that you needed, okay? You being an alchemist, you being a transmutation powerhouse is almost like the energy that's coming through to rise above that fear, okay? Right, let's go and get a shaman's dream message. The only one that will get in your way is you. You are everywhere, and everywhere is you. Go to the place where there's nothing, because that's where everything is. Go to the river. If you see the Buddha, kill the Buddha. What does that statement show us? Omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence. You are everything everywhere all at once. You are playing with other extensions and versions of yourself within your own creation. New life. So this is the new energy, right? This is the new energy that's coming through. It's super auspicious. It's funny because this is like a Venetian kind of energy, right? Because it literally is like the oyster. It's like Aphrodite, she was kind of born in this essence as well. 39. So it's really about seeing the value in choosing yourself. Birth of new ideas, growth opportunities, and a breath of fresh air, life renewing itself. So this is what's on the other side of. Once spring awakens, the world, joy, and excitement can be felt all in your very core. So it's almost like reality is catching up to these shifts. Blossoms burst from the trees overnight, birds return home and sing their glorious song, and nature is full of promise. Miracles beckon all of us. This is one of those times in your life when new ideas inspire you, new opportunities bring you hope for seeing your dreams come true. All is well in your world, and you will have the energy you need to feel renewed. Allow your heart to fill with enthusiasm. Let your light shine. This is a time of good fortune. And then in relationships, this is like new, vibrant energy coming in, a very auspicious time when it comes to partnerships in all forms. In prosperity, you have every reason to feel optimistic right now. Everything seems to be falling into place magically. New opportunities remind you that abundance is available to you. Delight in the bounty that begins to appear in surprising forms. Stay curious and know that your hopes and dreams are being fulfilled. It's as if new life suddenly infuses your projects, work, and creative ideas with that kind of electricity that crackles with exciting potential. Fortune is smiling upon you. there is a new life that's literally being birthed into creation. And it's because there is a new you. Life is always responding to you. It's always responding to you. It's a projection of what's going on within your own internal world. Vanishing mirror, ego sublimation. Now, what did I say earlier, right? It's almost like the ego is going to be completely dissolving. This card talks about that verbatim, so I'll go ahead and read it for you. And then you have the Fool's Embrace, which is crazy because we were talking about how it's the World card and then the Fool, right? So it's like your eternity and the mirror staring back at itself. So vanishing, these are two very, very powerful cards, and they're right on point, so I'll go ahead and read it. 58, ego sublimation, letting go of self-centeredness, becoming the vessel of possibility. Do you ever wonder if your self-definition has become too rigid, too fixed around what you've come to learn so that you contract your life into zones of safe versus unsafe? This here is okay, but that over there, well, that might be a little bit too risky. Judgment, fear, and self-righteousness and confidence are only some of the traits that have kept you from evolving. Now, you're always evolving. It's always part of your journey, but this is about really honoring change, because change over time leads to growth. Growth over time leads to evolution. Now, if there is a whole universe inside of you, there's one thing that's certain. The universe is designed to evolve, okay, in this spherical motion that is time. Now, what happens if you resist change as an organism of consciousness, okay, going through their own, you're a fractal of the universe is experiencing itself through you. Do you think you're going to go against everything else in this system? You're going to go against the whole universe. You, a little fractal, is going to go against the universal laws. What do you think is going to happen when you resist that change? The change will never hurt because you're in flow. You're moving fluidly in the system. Fluidly is to not attach, right? It's to be able to go through this constant cycle of rebirth and regeneration. What do you think will happen? Let me know, guys, in the comments down below. What do you think happens when you go against the whole construct of this universe? So, we are all products of our own conditioning. So remember that this is part of the human experience. Yet you are not meant to remain static, seeking only what you expect. Even if it appears ambitious, it's still too narrow. So this is funny because, again, it talks about you are not meant to remain static. Reality is not static, ever. It's a continuous summation of infinite quantum paths, each encoded as a wave of possibility in your field. And this is about new possibilities available for you that you can collapse through you supporting this potential timeline with your action, right? And that's what it feels like. Because of that, reality is crystallizing into form for those of you who dare to make friends with the unknown at this stage in your life. So you go nowhere when you hesitate to move outside of your comfort zone. When you focus too much on yourself this way, you become a servant of the ego. It edges God out, removing the magical possibility. Imagine looking into the mirror and seeing only what you are now. If you can let your self-definition soften, moving beyond the veil to see your potential, your magical emptiness exists where all things are possible. Look again. Who could you be? Who would you allow yourself to be? There's a specific message that's coming up around who would you allow yourself to be? Who were you before the world told you you were? It feels like a reintroduction to yourself. It's like you're being reintroduced to your infinite potential. And even if no one else sees this at first, they'll eventually figure it out. Because you're here to mirror a different example, right? There can be miracles if you believe. You kind of can see that energy. Nothing less is required of you right now. To tell. In this moment, let go of who you think you are and allow a new you to emerge. You will recognize yourself as you are, a partner in co-creation and service to the divine. Doesn't it feel good? So there's an opportunity to, again, become a vessel of possibility. Now with 2-2, your power lies in transmutation. And what did I call you guys, right? A transmutational powerhouse. So all alchemy is, right, and transmuting is saying, okay, I may be feeling fear in this moment. What do I need most, right? I may be feeling fear because fill in the blank. Because of how I'm going to be perceived, making this change, because of how I'm going to be, this thing is going to be received. I may be fearful because of A, B, and C. Okay, what do I want in illusion from the external? Because if I'm everywhere and everything is me, what do I want from everywhere and everything? I would like, let's say, compassion. I would like understanding. I would like patience. I would like acceptance. Okay, well, can you feel yourself as a fractal of the universe with all of those things? Can you have compassion for yourself as you move through this change? This is what transmutation is. This is what alchemy is. Okay, can I hold unconditional love for myself and accept myself at every single stage of my evolution journey? Can I love myself into change? Can I love myself through the change? Can I love myself and accept myself even through the times of uncertainty when I'm moving through the dark? What does dark energy teach us in the Cosmos Oracle message? Well, it teaches us that there's so much more to be discovered in that dark period, in the unknown. So transmuting pain, right? This basically talks about it can be woven through the continuity of existence. You no longer have to choose to go through these lessons from the perspective of the matrix, which is suffering. You don't have to suffer through this. You can thrive through it, and you can thrive right now. When you realize that making this decision is something that actually supports and nourishes the soul's journey, there's a different kind of responsibility that you feel behind this decision. So yeah, this can become etched into us like a tattoo. No matter where you find yourself on the spectrum of pain, whether it be mild disappointment or searing loss, it's time to make peace with it. Once you accept that it's there, maybe the fear is there or the pain is there, and there's almost like a bittersweet essence, it instantaneously neutralizes the energy. What we resist will continue to grow, right? That feeling of unease. It just may not hurt enough, or it may have not hurt enough for you up until now to actually make that shift. Yeah. So not judging it as good or bad. This basically talks about something new is waiting for you. It's never going to be walled off from you, but it's waiting elsewhere. If you could come to terms with the liberation and freedom inherent in your loss, your broken heart might open you up to a greater sense of humanity and compassion. As a narrative of the tarot, the Fool will be in the beginning of your life's adventure, and at the end, when you've integrated all the wisdom you've accumulated along the journey, he will never let you down or lie to you. So this is about, again, remember the pearl cannot be created without gritty sand causing discomfort that acts as a catalyst. Again, it hasn't hurt enough until now. Like, your discomfort in what used to be your comfort zone has now surpassed that comfort that existed long ago. And that is your sign. Radical acceptance is needed now. Everything has value. So again, there is an ability to transmute, almost like a parasitic belief system that has entered into the oyster, but the oyster is a natural filtration system, right? So you can naturally filter in thoughts that may come in as you move through this change. Just like the Matrix and Neo, right? With the neocortex, his primary 5 antennas were navigating this realm, right? His senses are things that he's observing within the human body. Well, if you strip all of that back, if I take away your taste, I take away your touch, your sight, your smell, all of that, what are you left with? Just pure awareness. And I'll tell you, this is so funny that the Fool's come out, and I was talking about the Fool because I actually have a message about the Fool. I was like in a deep download the other day, and it's kind of like the Joker energy in playing decks, because the Joker is, I'll go ahead and, should we do it in this reading or should we do it separately? I guess we'll talk about it now, why not? If you've made it this far, you definitely, this will be interesting to know. So the Joker in the playing decks, right? I used to read tarot from a long time, right? Over like a decade. But before that, I used to read playing cards. And the Joker talks about he's like the depiction of the Fool card, right? The Fool card is a new beginning. The Fool card, I'll go ahead and get it up in this deck, is Uranus energy. It's a point of destabilization that becomes the catalyst for your greatest transformation ever. Now, I don't know if anyone's watched, what's it called? If Alice Through the Borderland, right? Something like that, Alice Through the Borderland. Well, there's a scene where the Joker is talked about someone that fills the gaps of between time, right? Between the realms of the living and the realms of the dead. It's literally the 29 degrees and entering into, a 0 degree. So the Fool card, right? It's somebody on the edge, they're on the precipice, and they're basically having to do a trust fall with the universe. And what is she going to fall into? She allows herself to, well, this geometric, intricate, interconnected web or structure, something that kind of goes beyond the human's mind. And it talks about the human construct and the gaps between life and death, where the Joker represents the Fool. It's known as the bridge between realms, or the bridge between worlds. And in playing cards, the Joker evolves from the Fool into the Tarot. And it talks about, and this is part of like the major arcana. So this is not just something small. It's not like a minor arcana or even a court card. Major arcana is impact your life from 6 months onwards. This is a decision that leaves a mark in the historical timeline that literally alters the whole trajectory of your life, right? So they do not belong fully to the system, yet they complete it because they're in that liminal space of the 0, right? What is the 0 point? The 0 is neutral observation. The 0 point is what I keep telling you, to go nowhere, because that's where everything is. Go to the place away from the fears, go away from the place, from the desires, from the longings, and just come to that neutral point where you are source playing inside of its own creation and begin to observe everything that comes up within this vessel. So the Fool starts the hero's journey, and that's where it feels like, you're being initiated into, to be honest with you. And the Joker ends the kind of game's illusion, right? Where he reaches the world card. He meets all of these other versions of himself along with his life's journey, right? All of these different characters that play a huge role in his journey, but he doesn't attach to the stories, because when he goes through that reset, right, within his own internal universe, he steps into a new way of moving through this existence. So he has extracted the wisdom. Okay, and I'm hearing he's attracted the wisdom because of his curiosity to take a leap of faith into the unknown. So even in like the numerical esoteric essence, the 0 is not emptiness. It literally is the infinite field of creation. And this space allows all other numbers to even exist. So the Fool's consciousness is to become a witness. It's to become the player, but also the space in which all experiences unfold, to be able to hold that space for new experiences to unfold for you. And in the series, there's a character called Arisu, and he's like the main character, right? He's mastered kind of all the different games and the levels, and at the end, he almost has this final level of like, what's it called? Like the boss, the big boss, or you guys don't know what I'm talking about when you play video games, like the final boss, right? And the Joker's final game is something that allows him to make a decision around, okay, is he going to just end his life, okay, or is he going to kind of step back into, okay, there could be the potential of loss, there could be the potential of suffering, but it kind of reminds you of that quote of, it's better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all, because you are here in this third dimensional plane. It's a multi-dimensional plane, right? There's so many other beings and other dimensions that are very curious about this experience, because what is it like to feel the full spectrum of human emotion, right? There's beauty in that. You get to experience love only because you've experienced loss. You get to experience unconditional love because you've experienced love with conditions. You get to experience joy because you experience sadness, right? So you are here to experience all of the things, but also attached to none of them at all. So towards like the climax of the episode, it ends with like this final season's arc, if you will, where Arisu confronts this mysterious figure who calls himself like the Watchman, right? He's the one that watches time, and he's often mistaken as the Joker. But the Watchman comes into the scene and time freezes. And I feel like this is almost like a conversation that you're having with your higher self right now. So it's like this octave within you that you're communicating with. And anyway, he has to choose between two cards, right? He has to choose between the Joker or other kind of mysterious card, and he doesn't know which one is which. But whatever one he decides will choose his fate, right? So it's like me saying, okay, guys, choose a card. Well, I just gave it away. Okay, let me get another one. Okay, wait. Choose a card. Choose a card, left or right. Let me know down below. Left or right. This is left and this is right. Okay, let me know in the comments. Anyway, he quickly realizes that both of the cards are jokers. So it's almost like this what is this sick joke of I was gonna experience loss no matter what timeline I ventured down, but it's about your relationship with loss, right? It's about your relationship with death and seeing it as a glimpse into new dimensions where new stories get to play out, because every ending is a new beginning in disguise. So the Watchman offers this metaphysical explanation, talking about the Joker is not just a being, he's not a god or the ruler of this realm, but he's a symbolic card that represents the gaps between life and death, and also the beauty between moving through each day, right? So anyway, he kind of breaks it down where he talks about a standard deck of cards, right? Numbered cards sums up to 364, which is the days with numbered cards in a deck. But when you add the one joker, you get 365 days, which is matching the days in a common year, right? In our Earth experience. But then he says if you add two jokers to the deck, it equals 366 days, which is the number of days in a leap year. And what does the joker do? The joker leaps. The joker literally leaps into the unknown. And there's something around this feels like a leap year era. It feels like this is the potential to enter into that quantum leap, because that 29 and 0 degree is like almost like a gap that is closing. It's a bridge that's closing. It's a timeline that's closing out, but it also becomes a connecting point for you. And anyway, he talks about how it's kind of bridging again the unknown between the known and the unknown, and you're beginning to kind of make friends with that. So you may not know this, but you know yourself, and you can know that you can trust yourself as you move through these next kind of series of events. So Aristu is given two jokers to choose from, and it's not a trick. It actually becomes a cosmic symbol in that point where his fate lies in the spaces between certainty and uncertainty. He is then offered a choice to kind of return to life with all of the pain, the challenges, and the loss that he'll experience, or he can be carried away into like another realm, right? Into really being robbed from the experience of ever truly getting to live. And I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that part of this experience here on Earth is really allowing yourself to live. You should not fear endings and deaths, because there's going to be many deaths in a lifetime. Death of a relationship, death of even an old relationship that you've had with yourself, death of a job, death of a location that you resided in. There's going to be multiple endings in your life, but what I'm trying to, convey to you is that always leads to the zero. It always leads to other infinite potentials streamlining into your reality as that ending takes place, because the energy is going to be transferred or recycled into another octave of reality, into another dimensional plane. So yeah, even though life is kind of filled with these trials, the Joker is not an antagonist, but he acts as a bridge, right? The space that you're being given to move between realms right now. So there is something that awaits you on the other side of the threshold, and what is it? It's the new life. So it's the metaphor of time and choice, and also morality, that echoes the broader themes of the games are not only physical trials, but a spiritual initiation that you're moving through. The soul wanted to experience it all. Your soul wanted to experience it all. Don't rob yourself from that experience, because the illusion of fear got in the way. And it's where you got in your own way. So, yeah, guys. Should we get one more card just to close out? Let's get a multi-dimensional card for the theme. I'm hearing the theme and advice are not separate from each other. 6 of Trees. What is this? Energy exchanges. I mean, it kind of does remind me of Newton's law. So again, like every action that you have will have a reaction. But it's not just the foot leaving the floor. The floor is also supporting the foot leaving, and it's assisting it with a level up or moving up into something new, right? A new step forward of some kind. So it's almost like you're being supported with this change. That's how I'm seeing it. And it's going to literally plant your feet or ground you into a new layer of reality. So let's talk about Six of Pentacles, right? Six of Pentacles in this card. It's an energy exchange, you know, it's something that somebody invests. It's like this decision is an investment in yourself and it leads to a return. So abundance, giving, and gratitude. A bright haze rolls through the hills, cascading across the background of a backlit proud oak. The farm is bountiful. This time of year and the harvest is nearly here. The fertile ground is speckled with pops of bright colours. And after the rotting that came before, any abundance is welcome. So again, there is like this, it's like this rotting. It's what would happen if a tree, like, can you imagine? This is what it feels like for you. It's like you're this tree and you have blossomed and harvested, not even harvested, but you've grown these fruits to fruition, right? You've grown these fruits to full term. But you've been scared to let them go. You've been scared to let them fall. And there's something around just honoring that something has fully come to term in your life, and there's beauty in that. It's time to prepare for this new season, and the fruits must fall, you know, the leaves must wither, but you have within you everything that you need to go through this next cycle of regeneration. So this is like phases that you're honoring, you know. The harvest provides hope and comfort with copious crops overflowing. This card appears when you have come into an excess of good fortune. Unlike the Four of Trees, this card represents the other side of greed, giving, knowing, and this is about, you know what this is? It's about the masculine and feminine and that blend. This is about giving and receiving. And there's something that you're being told to be open and receptive to. When you hold on or cling to, you resist that natural flow of the universe, which is about being one with the ebbs and flows of giving and receiving, releasing and receiving. And there's something that you're being called to let go of with 29. The 0 is you being in the infinite field where you were receptive to all other forms of abundance. And you may just surprise yourself in this next season. You know, maybe you ended up harvesting apples one season and the next you're about to harvest some mangoes, you know. That's what it feels like. It's almost like you don't realize as a multi-dimensional being, you can harvest so much more than just the one. You know, that's what I'm seeing for you. Anyway, even if you don't have any if you don't have an abundance, have gratitude for what it is that you do have. You have branches, right? Your generosity and kindness will come back tenfold and be the roots of many happy memories to follow. It's honestly very auspicious. I just picked up the deck and the Wheel of Fortune and the life map was at the base. So that's all I have to say. You know, that's all I have to say for today. And, you know, I trust this is exactly what it is that you need to hear at this time and space, in this space and time. This is the eclipses continuing to be activated. And yeah, I'll speak to you guys very, very soon. What does the eclipse talk about? Something that has been obstructing your light. It's been obstructing your vision from seeing yourself as a creator. So, until next time, guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. We'd love to have you around. Personal reading details are also down below. And also check out Otter Spirit if you guys are looking for some high quality AA grade jewelry. $1 of the proceeds are donated towards Otter Sanctuaries. And they're beautiful different intention packs or gemstones that you get to choose from. So you have 2 discount codes for that down below. And yeah, if you've made it to this point, comment down below.
Don't care if I stay.